Hi. So now that we've started really looking at data and writing down potential plot points about our data, we need to take a minute to talk about something called the level of analysis. So that means that's the units or the level at which you're working with your data and which you're thinking about your data. In our example, using the Sustainable Society Index, we're using data at the unit of analysis of the country. So we're looking at what's happening for the country. How many people in that country have access to water? That does not mean that we can make assumptions about things that are happening to the individual people in that country. So not every single person, if 35% more people in that country have access to water in a given year, that doesn't mean that every single person in that country has a 35% probability of having access to water. This is a really critical point in working with data to tell stories, especially around data journalism. It can be very frustrating because often you don't have the data at the level that you need it to make the claims that you want to say. For example, here is a very interesting article on the prescription of antidepressants. The number of antidepressants which are being prescribed on an annual basis in the United Kingdom is increasing, and it's increasing quite rapidly. And it would be very nice to make the assumption then that there are, say, maybe more people struggling with depression in England, or even that there are more people getting prescriptions for antidepressants in England. It could be a story about why doctors are prescribing more antidepressants. However, the unit of analysis here is the country level. So we're looking at the number of antidepressants that are being prescribed for the whole country. That means we cannot say things about the individual. If you look here, great website, Ben Goldacre, Bad Science, he walks you through a number of the things that this could actually mean. When they dig a little deeper into the data and they get data where the unit of analysis is the person, so instead of looking at the number of antidepressant prescriptions in the country of England, where the unit of analysis is country, they dug down and they got data about the antidepressants that were prescribed to individual people. So the unit of analysis here is people. And you can see that there were actually several changes that caused people who were already having antidepressant prescriptions to get those antidepressant prescriptions refilled more frequently. So the same number of people could have been getting antidepressant medications, but they were getting those medications fulfilled more frequently, which led to more prescriptions in the country of England for antidepressants. But the exact same number of people in England having an antidepressant prescription. It takes some time to wrap your head around. Go ahead and read the article. But this idea of the unit of analysis is critical in data journalism and very, very frustrating because often you want to talk about individual lives, individual stories, individual people. And if you want to talk about individual people, you have to have data that is being collected and analyzed at the level of the individual person, not at the country. So again, our example here, so far we're looking at the data in countries. So we can see which countries are more and less likely to have their population have access to drinking water. That, however, does not mean that for each individual within that country, they are having the same trend of being more or less likely to be able to access water. It is very possible that in country X, there's a 10% increase in the likelihood of a person having access to water. However, in this individual person's life, they could be much less likely to access water because of their personal situation. We're going to look at that in one of our upcoming videos, how to use individual data in combination with this country level data. So this is called level of analysis or unit of analysis.